hold each other up. Father, we come right now, just ask that you touch the mayor and the council, give them the strength and the courage, and be wise, Father, as they make decisions to better this community. Father, we ask that you continue to bind us together, Father, and make Inkster that city of love. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank God. Amen.
Roll call.
Mayor Nolan.
Present.
Councilwoman Watley. Councilman Oden.
Present.
Councilwoman Mitchell.
Present.
Councilwoman Howard.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Present.
And Councilman Chisholm.
Present.
We have 7 present tonight. We do have a quorum.
All right. Everyone had a chance to look at the agenda? We're gonna add another presentation. We are? Yeah, we got A already. The second presentation is gonna be Jason Dixon. He's gonna give us an update on the things he talked to us about before, things he's been working on.
Okay.
So that'll be B. And that's all, unless someone's adding something else. Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we adopt the agenda with the addition to it.
Support. Support. We probably move support, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It passes. All right. Presentation. We have the Honor Children's African Dance Group here yet?
They're coming in now.
Oh, they are? Okay. Well, how about we do Mr. Dixon first, and then we'll come back to him. Okay. Mr. Dixon, you ready?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So first of all, I would like to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to have the program on Martin Luther King's birthday. It was a great success. So as we spoke with the people that came, we brought Huntington Bank. So we immediately had a meeting the following Monday. And we've got a commitment from them to meet every Monday, weekly now, because of the extent of the response from your city, because they was impressed that you guys showed up the way you did to have pretty much every part of government there. So it looks like the leadership is the way that they want to have that kind of continuity for a city. So we're looking at some matrix in order to make them be attracted to the city of Inkster to do a significant investment. So we're going to be looking to see who can we put together on a committee to get some things, some benchmarks. So far, the main benchmark that we've come together with is to have 5% of the public housing, 5% from the city council to come together with their districts, and 5% from the American Academy with their student parent population to come up with those numbers to implement a financial literacy program so we can get people educated on financial literacy and how we can get these people in the homes. So right now, the commitment that we're talking about is to have in the recreation center to do a Huntington financial literacy lab so people can come in on a regular basis and get the education. To do a financial literacy lab at the public housing and a financial literacy at the school that's in the community. So once we get everybody on one accord and the community's talking and having the same conversation, and we can drive those numbers, because Inkster does have a nice housing stock that's affordable, and they're willing to do the lending where other banks in the Midwest are not. So all we have to do is put that board together, come up with those matrix, and pretty much with the 5%, if you look at 5% from each of your districts, that's a nice number for us to work with, and I believe we can drive that. The next thing we want to do is we need to talk to the city council and who's ever going to be on that team about what's that campaign going to look like? What can we call that so Huntington can actually get behind that campaign with Inkster. So now if we have a campaign and we can drive that and say we want to do this for 5 years and get a 5-year commitment to build that relationship, that means we can have a win-win situation. So that's our update. So we are meeting once a week, so I just want you guys to be mindful of that and have that conversation amongst yourself and shoot me an email on who you want to be on that committee that we can kind of have that go-to relationship with, so we can continue the continuity of the relationship and move forward in a timely fashion. Okay. If you have any questions.
Where are you meeting every Monday?
Right now we're on the phone.
No.
So, we actually, the goal was to meet the first meeting in Inkster. Matter of fact, I called Charday, but since the weather was bad, we said we wasn't gonna do that. And then we wanted to come up with a document, with some benchmarks, to make sure we had the buy-in from the school first, and then we'll come up with the same benchmark to reflect with the public housing. So we said we do that on the telephone, and then, you know, I knew that you guys had a meeting today, so I said it's important for us to come share that energy and know that you have a commitment, so to speak, from them to say, look, this is what we want to do in Inkster, but we just have to get these benchmarks together.
How often will you be meeting once you get everything together?
Once a week.
Once a week?
We're meeting once a week to drive this process.
Do you have a date for that once a week?
It's every Monday at 10 a.m. And I believe that we can probably work something out where we can meet here, by like a bi-weekly, since, you know, we are, you know, everybody's moving around. So we can kind of come up with that, if that's something that you want to do, and we'll commit to that, that's fine.
You want to let us know when you get started?
We're started.
I mean,
Next Monday, what would you like me to do?
I'm just trying to make sure I got it right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you already started.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. I just want to know because I like to attend and sort of keep up with what's going on.
That would be great. That's what we want.
Yeah.
We want to get that buy-in because I don't want to be the one to come up with a campaign for your city. I want you to we can put some names on the board and say, this is our campaign, so we can run it congruently from the recreation center, from the school that you guys have in the community, and from the public housing, because those are people who are going to benefit.
Gotcha.
And then you'll benefit together as a city. And it's a good story at the end of the day. And that's what we need.
That's why I want to get involved.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this way. You ready? My cell number, 313. I'm giving my cell, 313.
You want my cell number?
No, I'm giving you mine.
Okay.
His.
Okay, 313.
433 2636.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And then you can send me a text message, you can call me, and then what I'll do is I'll make sure that between now and next Monday, we'll give you a schedule.
Okay, very
And
good.
then maybe at that time, you guys can say, these are the names that we want you guys to be involved with in the email correspondence and things of that nature.
What's your last name, Jason?
Dixon, D-I-X-O-N.
Have anything else? All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate Wayne County Commissioner Anderson, you got anything for us?
Good evening, council members and folks at home and those in the audience. Just a couple of quick things. I wanted to let you know that probably within the next week or two, I should have the parks allocation for all the communities, and I'll be able to get that to you to let you know what that amount is. It'll probably be very close to what last year's was, maybe a slight increase because of property values increasing all across the county. Did want to mention, I hit one on the way home, way over here tonight, coming down, Tim, I think it might have been down, no, it was down Inkster Road I was coming down, and jarred my teeth a little, and luckily they're all solid in there. But anyway, road crew, I wanted to let you know if you needed to call the road crew and folks at home, folks in the audience, just jot the number down. It's 888 road crew. Just spell it out on your phone, and it actually has an extra letter there, but it'll go through that way. And that's the number, 888 road crew, and it's a toll-free number, and you can just try to give as close to the location of the pothole as possible. If you say between Michigan Avenue and Cherry Hill, it's probably not going to get done because they're not going to cruise all the way down the road looking for that one pothole. And in today's world, there's probably potholes all down through there, but and on Middle Belt Road. And I know Commissioner Williams, I saw him on Saturday, and he mentioned it to me. We're in that season now, so it's going to be a big issue getting those potholes fixed. And with that, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
The street the road along Cherry Hill from Merriman all the way Inkster Road,
Yeah.
both sides of the street, got water puddles.
Yeah.
Continuous, I mean, it's getting worse.
Yeah, I know.
I made a note of it to speak on it tonight.
Right.
But I thought it was gonna be later, but you came up front, and I'm glad that you did.
Yeah.
But there's a real issue there because puddles along the curbs, both sides. People coming down that street, they try to get over, they're gonna run into the other lane. It almost happened to me the other day. Because it's just flooding all the way along that stretch.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's anything gonna be happening with that.
It's not, I have repeatedly put that stretch of Cherry Hill in my requests of roads to do. And I think there's probably a couple of other council people that I've talked to about it, that I'm trying to get. In fact, if Inkster would be helpful, I'm sure EMS is having issues treating patients or working on patients that they may be transporting to the hospital. As Garden City has mentioned to me the same thing, that they're having issues of trying to start a line, an IV for someone that's injured in an accident or they've some other circumstances, and it presents a health and safety situation. So I would be interested in working with the administration here and in Garden City to get a letter, a resolution passed by the two councils to get that road, get it done. Because it's a high priority of mine. I've turned it in again this year as one of the main road that I want to get done is Cherry Hill. And I know it's horrendous. It shouldn't be in the condition it's in, but I'm pushing very hard on it to get it done. And if it's individual potholes in the meanwhile, please let us know. I know that I have constantly talked to the DPS director about it at budget time, and I'll continue to press for it. Hopefully, we'll get it done within the next year or so.
Well, thank you. It's good to know that, we got that attention.
I know it does. I know it needs the attention. I appreciate you bringing it up, too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
State Representative Joel Jones.
Good evening, Mayor, Council,
Good evening.
Administration, citizens. Happy to be here. A happy Monday again. Good to see everyone out. I guess a few updates I have is this, or not this week, it was supposed to be this week, but the President's having his State of the State. We're going to be having the State of the Union. We're having the State of the State next week. So we should have a better guideline of what we're going to be doing out at the Capitol after we hear some of the governor's remarks. Besides that, we're having our swearing in this Friday at the Rec Complex, a day after the Mayor's State of the City. It's going to be at 7 p.m. At the Rec Complex. We're going to be having our Lieutenant Governor come out to swear me in, Mayor Nolan to be there. We have Judge Sabri coming from Detroit to share a few words, as well as a few other invited guests. And just to piggyback on what Commissioner Anderson said, Javion, too, he was headed this way earlier today, but he actually hit a pothole, destroyed his tire completely. So it was like off of his car. I just sent him the number actually so he could report the pothole. It was in Detroit, though, so hey, pray for them out in Detroit. And also Deidre Ruffin, who I recently introduced to the city and to the district. I just found her a job working with one of my colleagues. So as some of you may know, she's a paid intern. But, of course, we want to see our young people progress. So I tracked down a job offer for her. So she's going to be working with Representative Karen Whitsett, who's actually Javion's state rep. So she'll still be relatively close by. But we will be having a new face join us pretty soon. So just get ready to meet our new paid intern who will be out here helping us out. But besides that, that's all I got, unless you all have any questions. No questions?
All right, thank you.
Wonderful.
All right, anybody, any other elected officials? Anybody from their office? Okay. Now, Allure Children's African Dance Group, are they ready now? Hope she's not by herself. One woman show.
Peace and blessings, everybody. We are Alnor African Dance Drum and Drama Troupe. We're here to bring a little bit of culture into this fine one today. We're gonna be doing a few African drums and then one on the box, and we will be at the
Friday night.
And you'll be at St. Clement's Episcopal Church on next Monday at 6 o'clock. Doing a dance exhibition. And hopefully
You need a microphone.
Inkster children
Oh.
join our There's much more.
And we're gonna give you the microphone so you can announce it so the people at home can hear.
Introducing Al Noor again to Inkster. Mama Ai came out and started a class at one time, but we didn't get it off the ground. Al Noor, as the young lady said, opened up our Black History Month at Booker Dozier on Saturday. So you got to see a bigger part of the group. And these children are mostly coming from Detroit. Mama Ai's class is in Detroit right now, and so that's why we want a class out here so that Inkster children shall have a troupe here available to go around and perform on this side of the state. But they will be in full force on Monday. That's next Monday, the 11th. Our calendar says 3 p.m. That's a mistake. They will be at St. Clement's at 6 o'clock. Doing a dance exhibition. We hope that you will bring your children out from your churches. You'll bring your grandchildren and your children. It's mostly boys that do the drumming and the girls dance, but hey, you can go either way. There's drumming and dance class, and so we want the Inkster Al Noor division.
All right.
Yeah, something a little bit smaller than her that was out there running around. I said, oh, look at these kids with all this energy.
Yeah, microphone.
She needs the mic.
This poem is called Deepest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are more powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Actually, who are we not to be? Your plan small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to manifest our glory. That's within us, not just in some of us. It's in all of us. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fears, our present automatically liberates others.
Peace and blessings, everybody. If you look at the outfit
her uniform. They have taken the traditional kente cloth, which is worn by the kings and stuff, and they have evolved it and made it like funky and livelier and way more pizzazz in there. So it's a transformation going on the continent as well as over here. And so we try to keep connected so we don't lose anything. Thank you for having us. Peace and blessings. Again, Al-Nur will be at St. Clement's on next Monday at 6 p.m. Don't we want our children to talk like that and to have culture like that? Our little boys to drum like that and our girls to dance like that? Bring your children, your grandchildren, your church children, your godchildren, children you like, children you don't like. Bring them next Monday at 6 o'clock, St. Clement's. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Tell them about the little one on the end.
Would you stop? I used to be able to dance like that. I just want to tell you.
You can show us. Ever hold your peace. Hey, man, should we have an ambulance standing on stone?
I don't want to show nobody up in here tonight. Okay.
We have a defibrillator ready.
All right, done for the joke. All right, everybody, we had a chance to look at the consent agenda.
Yes.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to accept the consent agenda.
Okay. Been properly moved and supported. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes. Boards and commissions.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to appoint Ned Sanders to that board again. Board of Review.
We got we already have his information, so you guys ready to vote? Get his support on that? Okay,
Support.
That doesn't count.
She said support down here.
Okay. We got a motion and support. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes. I would like to nominate Connie Mitchell for the Cable Commission. We already have her information. I think we know her.
Support.
Support. Okay, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes. Any other nominations? Okay, I guess not. We'll move on down, way down.
I got a couple of questions on the what's in committee.
Okay, sure.
Not sure about this one.
Can you talk a little louder?
Right to the mic.
I just want to know what's going on with the Economic Development Corporation. Are they operational? Is there anything happening with that board at all?
I know, it's hard to answer. I know we have a functioning TIFA board and we have a DDA board. Some of the members on, I believe, the TIFA board have kind of taken on a joint role and decided they were also Economic Development Corporation. So I'm not sure what's going on.
Explain taking on. Do they have the authority to take on?
No, we appoint as a body. So only
Exactly.
we can appoint.
Right.
But I've seen some emails where people put on their taglines that they're part of the Economic Development Corporation. And I was confused by it, but I guess there was some confusion because in some cities, both groups are the same. So I think some folks thought that was the same thing in Inkster, so they kind of put their own title on it.
Can we disabuse them of that notion?
I did, but they didn't like my answer, so.
Inkster did do that.
Separate?
Because they had TIFA first, and then someone brought up the Economic Development Corporation because it wasn't existing at the time.
Right.
But by law, you had to
You
have
have to
that.
have it.
So the TIFA group became the EDC.
Did we do that by some sort of ordinance or resolution, or because?
Hold up.
They did it by previous before did by resolution.
Okay. So maybe that's where they got it from, because I think most of these folks were holdovers from the last council. I don't think we appointed many of them, maybe you reappointed one or two.
Yeah, I can see like two of them that are still on here from that time.
So you're saying that they had two roles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll leave that alone.
Don't leave it
That's just
alone.
strange to me.
Because I think we should know what they're doing, because
Right.
ultimately we're responsible for things
Right.
like that. So we should be the ones who are authorizing or not authorizing.
Well, my main reason for asking that question, and you know, it's related to what's going on within the city and what we're trying to go. Going forward, we're trying to bring development into the city, so forth and so on. I think the role of that body should be standing alone, because we're talking about economic development, we're talking about businesses coming into the community and working with business companies into the community. That's what raised the question, because at one time, when I was with the city myself, working with community development, there was two separate bodies. And it dawned on me that what's going on with it, because I haven't heard anything from it. You know, and that's why I raised that question.
I mean, it sounds like they did it out of necessity, because a lot of times we don't have enough people who want to volunteer. But it should be two separate things, you know.
Yeah.
It's two separate goals, it's two separate missions.
Yeah, and their functions are different, because the TIFA is one thing and EDC is another.
Yes.
Right.
True.
Doesn't EDC function as a funding board, as in going out for grants and those kinds of things? That was the explanation that was given to me.
Well, not only that.
In other cities, they do.
Yeah.
But they also can play a role in terms of bringing money into the city for those kind of things, right?
Yeah, it's important commission, if it's done correctly.
Well, I'm looking at the list, and most of the people on here have expired. There are three of us. Well, one expires in June, and two expire in 2023. So, if it's a board that can be made to be viable again and can do some good work for the city, I would suggest that it be reconstituted.
And I agree with it 100%, again, with where we're trying to go. I think that board is very important, will play a key role in terms of bringing in funds to do the kind of things we want to do under economic development.
But I think we have to really be careful on who we appoint, because obviously it needs some leadership.
Right.
Answer that question.
Because if they've been operating as that, we have not seen any results. I guess we can put it to you like that.
I think there's been one meeting that I was invited to.
Okay. So we got to make sure whoever we put on there can provide some leadership so they can actually get some of those things done.
Well, let me ask one more question. What's that? That's with Tiffer, they had to live in the Tiffer district.
Yeah.
Okay, EDC, are they citywide? Okay.
Yeah. So we can appoint who we want for EDC. Does not have to be the same people.
Right. Now, my next question related to the water review or committee. What is the role of this committee?
It was created, I think it was created years ago when we had issues with the water meters and the billing. And so the committee was created to have some interaction with residents as to what the issues were. And then they met and then came to the administration and articulate whatever the issues might be. I remember when they appointed the committee.
Yeah, I was on that committee, and we basically was trying to see why the water was so high, and we also was looking at the meters at the same time. But every time we had a meeting, there was new information we couldn't really get a hold to, because there was always some changing going on. So, everybody that's on here is no longer on here.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, they don't meet anymore. It's been a long time.
Basically, we need to make a motion to dissolve this board.
Oh, I was gonna ask if it was still a need for it.
Right. We still have issues, but I don't know if it's still a need for that particular
For a
committee.
whole board?
Yeah.
My last question on the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. I see that we got 2 vacancies. You know, in terms of their roles, do they have to represent a district, or they can just be member within the community, they could serve on that body?
You got the list in front of Brownfield. Brownfield, do they even meet?
I don't think so. Not.
Yeah, you know, we have some outstanding debt. There were some bonds that were done. So there is still that activity as we continue to pay off those bonds. I know myself and Mayor Pro Tem, I think we met once last year. So currently, there really aren't any active brownfield redevelopment projects in the city. Part of it is because it gets back to the fact that we're talking about another capture district and the financials associated with that. So since I've been here, the 2 years that I've been here, it's only been related to the projects that had already been done by the Brownfield Authority. So there hasn't been any new activity in the last couple years. Just the activity specifically related to the prior bonds that were issued and the debt service associated with that.
Is there anything that's coming down the pipe that we may need to reestablish?
It's the revitalization's coming up.
And the reason I'm asking the questions is because I see 2 vacancies. And that's why I'm asking the questions, to find out where they are, and if we're gonna continue to deal with them, do we need to take a look at going forward,
One person.
identifying 2 people to fill those voids? And that's why I asked the question.
Sure. And to answer your first question, there hasn't, outside of one inquiry, we haven't had any other, businesses or developers that have inquired about the utilizing the brownfield redevelopment. The one inquiry, Mayor, I believe we kind of took a look at, and there wasn't much viability to that plan. So beyond that, we haven't had any inquiries or anybody looking to present anything.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody have anything else?
Explain the Local Business Enterprise Advisory Committee. I thought that was a committee that was focused on entrepreneurship, business entrepreneurships, particularly for women in the city. Is that correct? Or
Yes, it was, because, and I think right after, something that they took away. But it was only 3 people that was actually involved in it. But the purpose of it was for when there was new buildings or new workers coming into the city, that we would go to them and say, well, you need to hire some of the city, the citizens as well. Affirmative action is what sort of killed it at that time. Because it was named something sort of different, so they had to come back and rename it.
What was that?
the Local Business Enterprise Advisory Committee? Because everyone has expired on that, and just last year too.
Well, we have plenty of committees for people to volunteer.
Yeah.
A lot of them not even functioning right now. Okay, we have no new business. I guess we'll go straight to public participation. Officer Lebo.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hope everyone had a good couple weeks, as well as got through the cold all right. Glad to see there was nothing major. So, a few things going on in February. We have, of course, as always, the Coffee with the Cop will be February 13th at 10 a.m. Applewood, Coney Island, located at 28640 Michigan Avenue. All are welcome. Please come out. There's no agenda, no speeches. We just have a cup of coffee and some conversation. It's a good way to get to know some of your officers and hear concerns and get answers directly from us. So please join us. Our next February event is the Dorothy Gardner Memorial Bake Sale. That's going to be Wednesday, February 27th, 10 a.m. till 1 p.m., but we usually run out of supplies or baked goods very fast. So try and get there early. You know, pre-orders available. If you know what you want, please let me know in advance. We'll set it aside for you. We'll take your money, you can take your baked goods, and we go about our business. So that's going to be, like I said, 10 a.m., Wednesday, February 27th, in the Inkster Police Department lobby. Please help support. What?
Oatmeal raisin cookies.
Oatmeal raisin, gotcha. Oatmeal raisin cookies for Pro Tem. I'm gonna write that down, and I'll make sure that the Commission on Aging is aware of that. Commission on Aging, they volunteer their time, their money, their everything to make these bake sales happen. They homemade most of these goods, and they're delicious. Seriously, please come out, support them. All of the proceeds go to support my activities around the city and just general community outreach. So hope to see you there. Thank you all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wiley. Oh, no, I skipped it. Treasurer. Clerk.
Right. No comments tonight, Mayor.
No comments.
All right, I knew they had nothing.
So bad.
Councilwoman Wiley.
He asked, please. Oh, okay. Just making sure.
she's
Don't
still
wanna
in
see
line,
you get slighted.
Yeah, right. She needs sleep.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all the ladies that helped me Friday night. Tony Bailey, Opal Nolan, Mabel Stroman, and Rochelle Wells. You all are great, okay? Thank you so much. And I always do that, and I always forget somebody. So if I did, it was my mind, not my heart, all right? I'd also like to announce that the tour for the Charles H. Wright Museum that was to be held on the 20th has been canceled. Lack of participation. No one signed up for it, so there's no sense in renting a bus. Well, someone did, but it was only 4 people. So that has been canceled. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Councilman Oldham.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Got a couple things. One is related to the, and I brought this up,
Open your mic.
I brought this up before, more than once, and I know it takes time to deal with different issues, but when I continue to see the same thing happening over and over again, you know, I have to bring it up. And the first one is we continue to have the flooding. I think, you might recall, I brought it up a while back, along Middle Belt, just south of Cherry Hill at Beach Nut. Every time it rains, there's a big puddle. People have to leave out of the right-hand lane, go into the left-hand lane, get to Cherry Hill. Continues to happen. It happened just recently again, because of all the snow and so forth. Again, I know it takes time, but this has been going on for a while. We need to address it. Along the same stretch, I brought this up before. There's lights out, Cherry Hill, all the way down the other side of Avondale, on both sides of the street. On the west side, down around the other side of Avondale, on the east side. So we need to deal with that and get that addressed. The third item I have concerns with, dumping at 710 Eastern. Now, 2 years ago, you may recall it, her and I, when the county was dealing with trying to help people obtain their properties and so forth, we rode the neighborhood. This was one of the properties that was there, where they could have taken advantage of information that was being made available, and the county working with those people who had problems with their taxes. Nothing has happened, and they've been dumping there. I mentioned it, I think, to the police chief, mentioned it to him, and so forth. But it continues to happen, and they're now just dropping all kinds of trash, rubbish, leaves, and so forth. It's in between street, the house, then there's a trailer like between the house, that house, and the house next door to it. And it's been there for a while. But the house has been there since 2017. Whoever owned it never dealt with addressing the opportunity they had working with the county to be able to retain it. And now it's becoming a dumping spot. We need to deal with that, try to get that squared away. I will attempt to deal with, or make contact with code enforcement, see if I can, you know, deal with getting them to go out and take a look at it and try to address it. But it's eyesore. Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Clarence.
Mayor, just before you do again, I'm sorry, people, but today at our hair expo, there was this young lady there from Distinguished Hair and DH Natural. So she does all kinds of natural oils and things of that nature. Her name was Chantel Wesley. She was fantastic. She was like hooking hair with a crocheting needle. I know nothing about these things.
Locking it?
Locking? Oh, okay. Listen, Stephen knows. But she has all these shea butters and oils and things of that nature. So I said, you know, our mayor would love that. So, not the cooking part. She was telling you how to do things naturally, like make your own deodorants.
Right.
She was just a wealth of information, and I invited her to the fashion show because I think everybody ought to see and hear from her. But she was giving away free samples, incense, oils, and things. So I got the mayor some Egyptian musk.
She trying to embalm you?
And some whipped shea butter. So I want to make sure, pass this down to him. That's what I forgot. And I reached in my pocket and I said, oops. So there you go, sir.
So I wear the musk instead of deodorant? Hey, Mayor, the shea butter works wonders. I actually use it myself. That's why you got an ocean on your head. Yeah.
Oh, you folks are something.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Councilwoman Mitchell.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. First of all, sometime back, you heard me talk about a partnership between Henry Ford Community College and the city of Inkster. Well, finally, we're ready to roll. Our first class will be grant writing, introduction to grant writing. So all you 501c3ers out there, the class will be held on the 19th and the 21st of February at the Rec Center from 4 to 6 p.m. And they will be taught by Dr. Chapman from Henry Ford Community College. So I will be posting the flyer on Facebook, on Instagram, and I will be emailing it to those of you who I know. And when you get it, please forward it to other people. This is one of the ways that we can save our 501c3s and not have to always dip in our pockets. I will be student number 1 for the Inkster Task Force, so that we can learn how to go out there. There's tons of money out there. We just need to know how to go get it. So I will make sure that that information is out. Allegra Johnson from FCC is to bring some flyers here, and they will be available in the City Hall here. We're also setting up ways for you to register for the class, either online or in person. So all of that information will be available for you. So I'm really excited about that. And that's only the first class. There will be one on business marketing and one on using QuickBooks, which is the industry standard now for accounting for businesses. So those are going to be very good for us. I would also like to remind citizens, please remove your garbage cans on the day of your garbage pickup by 6 o'clock in the evening. That's what our ordinance says. And it looks very, very bad to ride up and down our streets and see garbage cans still on the streets 2 days after your garbage has been picked up. It's just a simple thing to walk out there and pull it back. So please, let's make the city look great by just doing that one little simple thing to improve the way we look when people come into our city. I would also like to thank the staff and the director of our Department of Public Services. You got your streets plowed? How many cities can say that all the streets were plowed? And I want to thank you, Mr. Bivens, and your employees there for that, because that was a lot of snow, and I mean, it was cold, and who wanted to get out and have to do all of that? But they made getting around our city very, and that's just one way that we can see our city growing and improving. There was a time when we didn't get that service. So please, these little things add up for the city of Inkster and make us come up to be just as competitive as other cities around us. So I really appreciated that. And that is all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
$50, I'm sorry, $50 for the grant writing class. And Barbara, I'll make sure I send it to you directly.
Councilwoman Howard.
Yes, hi. I don't really have anything to say, but during the last week when we had the cold weather, I'd like to thank Al, Jerome, and everybody else, public service. We had warming centers up at the rec center, and I'm not sure, did you guys get anybody?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was nice. That was nice. And they had people bring food. I thought that was really nice. So thanks to everyone that stepped up and did something good. That was nice.
Oh, that's nice. That deserves a applause.
I should have went there and cut my heat off. Save some money.
Councilman Chisholm.
I don't have anything.
We got TV. Do we have TV there? Oh, right, shoot.
TV's all over there now.
Oh,
Mayor Pro Tem.
talk about it.
Thank you. First, I want to start out, I gave everybody a photograph of a citizen's yard on Beach, west side of Middle Belt. It seems that every winter, somebody goes down that street.
I'm sorry.
And they try to turn the curb there, and they end up in this lady's backyard tearing down her fence. So she requested that we put up some type of barrier right there because her insurance company is going to keep replacing her fence, and her payments keep going up. So we can look into that. Also, on that very street right there, during the summertime, they do a lot of dumping. Every time we do the spring clean, we go on there and we find all kinds of little small liquor bottles and all kind of trash, McDonald's, whatever, always tossed on that street right there. I know we talked about cameras at one point, putting them up, and didn't want us to let us know, but as I drive through Detroit, I see all these little green lights to let people know they got these cameras. So I don't think we should be hiding the fact we got cameras. We just let them know that we got cameras, and because right here on this street here for the last couple of years, they've been dumping, and with the cameras there, we probably can catch some people dumping there. Stop dumping. So hope we can get that taken care of.
Mayor Pro Tem, I apologize. What beach and what? Right by Middle Belt.
Yeah. If you can put another barrier over towards where her fence is, because. Yeah, no, I'll give you this, the picture. Okay, great. Okay, next thing. I know we talked about this at one point, the emergency alarm system. When's it going up? Because I always, when the first of the month come, and that first weekend, I always hear Westlands that's far, far away. So I wondered when are we gonna put ours up?
That's on you.
Yes, sir. We have been dealing with a company for almost a year now, trying to get that resolved. As a matter of fact, I just sent an email today asking him when he's going to start, because we've done everything on the preliminary side of it. We've gone through the FCC. Everything is ready to go. It's just getting this guy out here to do it. If I don't hear anything back from him soon, then I'm going to kind of probably CC the mayor in on these emails and try to light a fire from that direction, because I don't know what the holdup is, to be honest with you. It should be in by now. We started talking about this last June, I think it was, and it's been one thing after the other with this company.
Okay.
So it is not being ignored, and matter of fact, I sent him an email today, so I hope I hear something real soon.
Okay. Okay, my next item, the beautification committee would like to use the mini police station that's on Middle Belt and Pine to store their equipment. I know housing's been using it to store some stuff over there, but when we found out that it's our building, we want to see if we can either share the building or let them use the building.
Who is that?
The beautification committee.
Oh.
I mean, they did ask us for us to return that property to them, or well, give them the building. So we have not resolved that issue yet either. We're waiting on some survey information, some other documentation. But just to bring that up, they asked us for that building. I think one of the things were why would we give them that building, blah, blah, blah. Because they've been using it for years. So that's something we're gonna have to decide pretty soon here anyway. But basically, beautification needs some space. They need some space.
Yes, need some space. Lights, well, I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. The lights out on Annapolis, I know those are specialty lights, but those lights are out over there still. And there's lights out in Brookside Park. In case you don't know what Brookside Park is, that's across the street from Baylor Berger there's a trailway that goes through there, and there's lights that are over there, and all the lights are out over there now.
On the backside beach. Is it on the
But
backside?
it goes from Carlisle all the way through down
No,
to the beach.
are the lights out on the backside where
All the
Beach
lights are
Road
out.
is? So it's on Beach?
Yes.
We did apply for a grant. We waiting to hear to get the rest of the lights done in the city of Inkster, but I will look into that. And I have spoken, and I'm following up on Annapolis.
Now, there's one light on Annapolis. Somebody knocked that down some time ago. And the citizen is asking about that particular light. Also, last thing, on Spring Hill between Pine and Annapolis, between Pine and Andover, there's a light pole that's been on the curbside for like 2 years. And it's just been sitting there. And
brown light pole?
Well, it's sort of greenish.
Greenish, yeah, wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, the DTE has placed it there. I don't know if they plan on replacing it somewhere, but I can follow up with them.
Okay.
You say that's on what street?
On Spring Hill between Pine and Andover. It's closer to Pine.
Between Pine and Andover?
Yes. And continue to shop Inkster. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just to follow up with the warming center, a lot of people from the community came together to donate items to make sure everybody was safe last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It was definitely a community effort. And it's ironically, Pauline Arafat walked in tonight. She stepped up. She opened up her place of business to anybody who needed shelter. She was going between the complex and her place of business, moving cots, making sure everybody was okay. I just want to give her a round of applause for stepping up. There's a list of people who donated food and different items for folks who needed to stay at the warming center. Tanya James, sister, leader of SWAP, she donated hot chocolate, donuts, bagels. Shauna Garrison, she gave money. I think she dropped off a donation in case people need anything. Tanya James, I already have Tanya. Cheryl Nolan was one of my neighbors. She called. She saw it on TV that we had a warming system, so she called me. She's like, "What do they need?" I said, "Call Al." So she went and picked up some hats and gloves and some things and took it up to the warming center. Feeds the Seed donated soups. Your handwriting.
That is your handwriting. That is not my handwriting. That's not my handwriting.
The group that I belong to that I can't read brought soup in cups for people to make sure people have food. And we have Stephanie Cornett House. Stephanie from Covenant House. She brought up some goods.
That was nice. That was nice.
Related to that, I know everybody know last Wednesday we have a power outage in the Middle Belt Cherry Hill area, which was a bit of a crisis because it was so cold. And we have a senior building there, a high-rise senior building there. So we kind of went into not panic mode, but we had to mobilize very quickly. Phones started ringing about 7:30. Got in touch with everybody, police, fire, DPS, and we didn't know the power was going to be reinstored. So we had to make sure we had to get those people. There's a lot of people in that building.
Yeah.
Over to the warming center. So we cranked up the bus and got ready to roll, and right when we got to do that, they restored the power. Because we had some folks who are on oxygen who need to plug in their oxygen tanks and stuff. So I just want to say thank you to all our department heads who were involved. We did a good job. We moved and got stuff done. As most of you know, you saw the news yesterday, we had a major fire in the city of Inkster. Strip mall on Inkster Road, just south of Cherry Hill, caught fire. It's a pretty big fire. One of the big ones I've seen in our city in a long, long time. The news erroneously reported that I owned the business last night because one of our former business owners gave them that information, knowing that it was not true. But you know how that is. It's just politics. Nevertheless, they got corrected, and this morning when they ran the story, they took my name out of it because they were giving bad information. It's just kind of ironic. When things come up in Inkster, they call my cell phone any time of the day to verify stories, to see what's going on. they have my personal number. Of course, I'm up watching the Super Bowl last night. They could have called and asked before they ran the story, but they didn't. And that's just, most times they get it right, sometimes they don't get it right. So hopefully we can get that building repaired. There was 4 or 5 businesses put out of business. And the investigation is ongoing, but I hate to see things like that in our community. It's not a good look. I'm just glad no one got hurt. So that's how we're gonna look at it right now. Once we figure out who did what, then we will update you as to what's going on. Black History Program, we kicked that off last Friday night. It was a great program. We had great food, African food. Sandra Wiley did most of the work, of course, with the people who helped she named earlier tonight. We had entertainment, 2 dance groups. It was excellent. We had a young man, Michael
Imhotep from the African History Network, and he was extremely interesting. He is going to be at the Middle Passage program.
February 16th, right? 6
Yes. Right.
You guys have to go check him out. It's dynamic. We had a great time, ate great food, and I think everybody took home food. We had so much food. It was great. And then earlier today, we had a Black History program at Inkster Prep. So it was called Stump the Mayor, which is not good, of course. So we went in, they picked out some of their smartest students, and they all had questions for me, and they tried to stump me on Black history. So it was kind of interesting. They did stump me. She stumped me, You only have to come to the meeting and rub it in. But, we had some questions for them, and we had fun. We had a great time. So we'll post some pictures on social media. We definitely had a good time. We're going to do Hicks Elementary.
Hicks.
That's coming up later on Wednesday. So we'll see what the kids at Hicks have.
Can I tell them what I found out?
Uh-oh, what'd you find out?
I'm old.
Yeah.
That's what I found out. These kids had no concept of the things we were talking about.
They were like 8. She was asking them stuff about Marcus Garvey, and they're like, we don't know. But it was fun. They learned a lot. We had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
When you finish.
Okay. State of the City is Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Rec Center. Please come out. It's going to be a good time. We have 3 major announcements to release that day. It's not going to be long. I'm not going to talk for a long time. We're going to have some entertainment. I'm going to entertain you. I'm going to do something different. And of course, I'm not going to dance, though. I'm not going to dance.
Oh.
But of course, we're going to have our reception afterwards, which is great food, give you a chance to talk to a lot of our local officials will be here, elected officials, and just interested folks, business owners. So definitely come out this Thursday at 6 p.m. for the State of the City. So we have here Connie Mitchell.
I'm sorry, I forgot 2 things. First of all, I'd like to say to Community Up, thank you for your senior program, your Adopt a Senior. I looked up and my drive was being shoveled. And I was really surprised and pleased. Well, I'm not really a senior, but my husband is. But that's just amazing that a group of people would do that for citizens in the city of Inkster. So I want them to know publicly that that's a wonderful thing, and that's one of the things that's making this city the great city that it is. The second thing is, speaking to what Sandra said about our children not knowing anything about Black history, Mabel Stroman and I are going to, starting late this week, have every week a Black history display at the Rec Center. We're going to have a display of inventions and educators and education, all the fields that we have been instrumental in this country. So there will be displays of items and artifacts at the Rec Center. So if you have a moment to stop through to just look and see, you'll be amazed, particularly about the inventions. Things that we use every day have been invented by African Americans. So that's going to be something, and I hope that Mabel and I will have the strength to even continue the display beyond Black History Month, because Black History should be 365, not just 30 or 28. So look for that, and when it's ready, there'll be announcements going out on our city website, Facebook, Instagram, and we'll email flyers out too.
And everybody, just kind of add on to the Community Up group, which I just met all the members a couple weeks ago. I saw some negative talk on social media because they were posting videos of them clearing snow for different people in the community. And I just don't understand it. We got to start lifting our folks up. Somebody, if somebody's gonna go out there for free and just remove snow at seniors' house, sidewalks on Middle Belt and Inkster Road, and we gonna talk about them because they're looking for publicity?
No.
They're posting what they're doing so other people will know what's going on.
In
And
the
if they
city.
need help, they can reach out to them and they'll come help them. So I think that's a great thing. I think we should help any way we can. And I appreciate the work that they're doing in the community. That's all I got, y'all.
All right, let's go.
Ready to go home?
Motion for adjournment.
Yeah.
Support.
The probably move supported, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposers, go home.
Question.